Hello and welcome to this week's Rituals of Returning video. This is our recap edition that comes with our recap deck from October. So anyway, this is one of those ones where I attempt to share some things with you in some minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the reading for today from 365 Days of Goddess. So happy to have some hardback copies of this book available in the shop, so you can make sure to check that out if you have missed them. And we're going to go ahead. This is a very brief reading, so maybe I will be able to keep this into a short time frame. And it is just this: Goddess, grant me patience, grant me joy, grant me strength. May I see with eyes of courage. May I hear with ears of mystery. May I walk with feet of wonder. May I breathe the breath of grace. May I breathe the breath of grace. This is something that I come back to again and again, that notion that the pulse of the sacred is underneath our very own skin and the breath of grace is in our very own lungs, over and over and over again. So in the shop this month, we still have some of our classic Inanna goddesses in the classic pigment. Inanna was one of our basically she was the very first story goddess. When we invented story goddesses, Inanna, I knew, was the first one to join. We had several first. We had Hecate, Pachamama, Yamaya, and Inanna and Bridget were all created at first. They were the first lineup. If you were around in the early days, we had a little picture of them lined up together, and that was our original collection. But Inanna was one of the very, very first story goddesses. She's the beginning of story goddesses, was with Inanna. And so anyway, we have some classic Inannas in the shop. We still have some of our pretty sparkly black Descend goddesses in the shop as well. And as I said, hardcover 365 books and hardcover Woman Runes books. And then we also have several special edition holiday pigments coming up in the shop this month as well. So looking forward to sharing all of those with you. And now, so as I said, this is our recap. This is our October recap. I try to give us a little bit of a chance. I know it's November, but I try to give us a little bit of a chance to sink into some of the themes and ideas that we've explored over the last month, so that we can actually allow those things to soak into us, to become part of us, to kind of take root with us, instead of just moving on quickly to the next thing. And then I also take it as a chance to share some things that I may have missed in the month before. So one of those things was this quote that I had saved to share and made into a little card, and then I didn't end up having time to share it during one of our community practice lives. So it is this from Elsa Gidlow in the book, quoted in the book, Open Mind, is where this one came from. We, mothers, sisters, lovers, infinitely small out of her vastness, yet our roots too may split rock of the rigid, the oppressive in human affairs. So how are you allowing your roots to split rock this month as we descend into the darkness, as we descend into winter? May we sink our roots deep. May we split the rock of the rigid and the oppressive in human affairs. And then a reminder affirmation: I am open to receive. And let's see, the last thing I think I'm going to share with you today, actually I have two last things. One is today's reading from Return, and then another card from that I think I may have shared during one of our community practice lives, but maybe I didn't, and I feel like sharing it again with you today. So we're going to go ahead and start with the poem from Return. Return is available in hardback and in pocket size edition in the Etsy shop, and also on Amazon in Kindle edition as well. So this one is a really important reminder, I feel like, as we close the year, because I find in my own life, sometimes a pressure kind of builds of not having quote unquote gotten it all done. And then really once we hit January, there's almost a sigh of relief, like, oh, there wasn't really a deadline. And that's what this poem speaks to, starting with that exact line. There is no deadline truly here. There's only a cycle of unfurling, a cycle of descent and renewal, of deepening and discovering, of contemplation and transformation. May you settle inward. May you deepen into trust. May you pause often, and may you laugh often. May you reach out in connection, and may you sink into solitude. May you savor and celebrate the rich and warm texture of your own life. May you come back home to center. May you trust yourself to choose with wisdom and with love. With wisdom and with love. So the prompt for today is settling inward. This is the time of year in which we're invited to settle inward, to descend inward, as I spoke of in the November practice video. We're descending inward. And an affirmation, I use this one over and over, and I know you've heard me say it before. I return to center. I return to center. So closing with one more little card from our card recap deck for the month. And again, these cards are available. So most of you are watching this on Patreon are already members of the community. So thank you so much for being members of the community. If you are not, the color recap deck is available to you once you join us. So there's a color recap deck for each month of the year so far. And so there's approximately 25 to 30 new additions to the deck for every month. And then what happens is it creates kind of an ongoing, I call it an inspiration oracle. It creates an ongoing inspirational oracle as the year continues to unfold. And it can be subdivided into 3 subdecks, one of affirmations, one of quotes and questions, and one of poems and prayers. And then you can mix and match those to create your own kind of grab and go, simple daily practice mini rituals in any day. You can mix and match. Some of them are a little specific to the season, a lot of them are not, and you can just mix and match them and choose out an affirmation, a quote and question, and a poem or a prayer, and you have a ready-made little less than 10-minute mini ritual right there from those resources. So if you're not a member already, please do join us before the end of the year. It is patreon.com/goddessmagic. And if you are already a member, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, each of you, so much. Okay, so closing with instructions for living a life. Plant your feet on solid ground. Open your arms to a shining star. Take long drinks of moonlight. Blow a kiss to passing crows. Bless yourself with sunshine, with raindrops, with leaf shadows. Eat wild berries when you find them. Gather poems from creeksides and hollow logs. Grant yourself grace and then do it again. Create a clearing for yourself in the center of your own life. Inhabited often. Inhabited often. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Keep living your magic. Bye-bye.